Stephen King's It. My God. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Uzumaki Clan here today with the video, and this is going to be the first episode of a series which I am making from this point on, and that is going to be my weekly reviews for Stephen King's It, which is going to be reviewed by each chapter. And the way how this is going to work is that I'm going to be doing a video on each chapter on Mondays and Fridays. If I don't manage to get a review out on Friday, then I will hopefully get it done on Thursday if there is to be a delay in my weekly reviews. So with that out of the way, let's discuss chapter 1 of Stephen King's It, which is, in my opinion, one of the best entries to any novel that I have ever read personally. Now, Stephen King's It, this is his 22nd written novel in 1986. And Stephen King's It, it's, from what I can say, it's a very, very, very difficult story to try to adapt from both sides. And I'm going to tell you why that is, coming from my thoughts and views on the first chapter. So, the first chapter of It is basically like how both movies were started from. From the beginning, we get introduced to both Georgie and Bill. Now, what's so brilliant about about the first chapter, in my eyes, is the way how King estimated Georgie's character. In my eyes, is quite brilliant, because the fact that George is only present in one chapter, but yet we get full-on details and we get to actually know the character in one chapter is brilliant. To me, that is. And the way how he structures Georgie's character to be as realistic as any kid at that age would just completely astonishes me. Now, Bill and Georgie have a very affectionate relationship as brothers. You know, they care for one another. They do have arguments with each other, but it's more of a less kind of a platonic kind of brotherly fight. We can all relate to that. Hell, I can relate to that with my brother. Now, the novel goes into detail showing what kind of person Georgie was, and from what we can understand, Georgie as a 6-year-old boy has the right exact way how we would all picture a 6-year-old to have. You know, he's very outgoing. You know, he's very energetic. He loves his brother full-heartedly. He's a very cheerful character, and the fact that he dies after being so young, after knowing a character, really is heartbreaking, especially after seeing how grateful of a relationship he has with his elder brother Bill. And in this chapter, we actually do get to know some bits and pieces about the town of Derry itself. For instance, in this chapter, we find out that that a long time ago in 1931, there was a major flood, which was so horrific that it cost a great majority of people their lives. And the fact that King goes into full-on detail from taking us away from the characters and focusing on the events that happened in the town is quite appropriately the right touch of development and notification as well. And also in this chapter, we get little hints and pieces and foreshadowing of what is to come. Because in this chapter, when Georgie goes down to the basement to get some supplies to help fix his boat, we get to see that Georgie slightly remembers or has visions of a turtle that he feels as if he is familiar with. And also in this chapter, we reveal that Georgie fears a terrifying monstrous figure called an It Monster, which craves the flesh for children, and it will stop at nothing until it consumes the craving flesh which it desires. And that goes to show you the brilliance of King's writing. So it so happens that later on in the chapter we get to see how George and Bill both bond, and we also get to know some information which was given to us about Bill and his stuttering issue. As it turns out, when Bill was 3 years old, he was hit by a car and he was knocked into a building, which made his parents believe that that's what caused the stuttering. And after that, Bill is suddenly cannot stop stuttering. He has difficulty speaking towards other people, and we get to see we get to see a large majority of that later on in the novel. But it's a great way of us getting to know the character of who these characters are, what they struggle with, and what exactly do they really want. We didn't get to see what they necessarily want, not in all those aspects, but we get to know them as an individual. So later on, we get to the scene where Georgie is playing with his paper boat, and then we all of a sudden get introduced to Pennywise. And the way how Pennywise was introduced was completely surprising and overall horrifying. Now, both movies tried with having the right intents for this scene. And I have to give a lot of credit to both Bill Skarsgård and Tim Curry as well. Both of their performances, they did great. But who necessarily, in my eyes, did it better when comparing to the book? I'm going to say Tim, just because, in my eyes, I felt that Bill's portrayal as Pennywise, especially towards that scene, felt a bit more how do I say this, menacing. And as for Tim's felt manipulative and felt like you could actually trust this guy. But with Bill Skarsgård, you just automatically know that something's off right away. So that's going to be my review for the first chapter of it, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and if this is your first time watching, I would really appreciate it if you hit that notification bell, and if you smash that like button. It helps me in the channel. And so yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a nice day, and be ready for my review on It Chapter 2 coming on Friday. Alright guys, see you on the flip side.